I was now ready to consider the cockpit canopy. Over the years, for my aviation paintings, I had made a considerable collection of World War II plastic model aircraft. These were used for visualizing air battle scenes. I had developed an idea for applying neat canopy framework. I needed to stick on colour in clean, narrow, flexible strips. Here that shiny backing sheet came to hand, combined with spray gun, acrylic colour and kitchen food covering film. This film proved to be excellent for the job. It is very strong and will stretch and bend around the contours of small canopies. Even after several years it still works. Here's how I prepare it. First, I stretch a piece of the film over some stiff card, making sure it is as flat and smooth as possible. Then I give the film a generous coat of spray gum. When this is nice and tacky, I apply a piece of that art print backing paper, shiny side to the gum. I then remove the card and roll the film flat. The film side of the laminate is painted by brush or by spraying with the choice of colour. When this is dry, the rough edges are trimmed and discarded. The film laminate can now be cut to whatever thickness is required. A sliver of backing paper is then removed and the strip of painted film can be applied to the canopy. It can get a little sticky, and this is where a third hand comes in useful. Now that's a lot easier. The strip can even be pulled back and relayed to a better position. Now there are just some small additional details to add, such as the belly radiator housing and exhaust stubs. I decided to carve the radiator housing from polystyrene, which would be a compromise in favour of lightness as opposed to finish. As the model was intended to fly rather than to be a highly finished representation of a Hawker Hurricane, I will put up with this impression of the aircraft. The outer shapes, both top and side, were first traced from the plan to become cutting patterns. Then the corners were gradually rounded off by slicing away thin slivers. I finished by sealing it with a small amount of decorator's caulking, which I smoothed over with a wet finger. The port and starboard exhaust stubs are each made from 3 laminations of balsa wood and short sections cut from a drinking straw. These components are glued together with balsa cement, and when completely set, they are finished with plastic filler and sanded to shape. I also used some of that plastic filler on the radiator housing. The final paint up and the parts are ready to glue on. PVA adhesive for the radiator housing and balsa cement for those exhaust stubs. Finally, I cut a small access panel in the tissue just behind the starboard exhaust stubs. This was to provide a viewing window should the elastic drive band require refitting. This job can easily be done with long tweezers.